Water, earth, fire, and air have coexisted for thousands of years. The four nations have lived together in harmony, maintained by the Avatar, the only individual capable of mastering all four elements. As the protector of the delicate balance between nations, when the Avatar dies, the spirit's power will be reborn into a new body to continue its eternal mission. The opening scene, faithfully recreated, likely immediately endeared itself to Avatar fans. The Last Airbender series, beloved by generations of viewers, Netflix's new card has made a smart move, promising at least not to fall into the pitfalls that the 2010 adaptation did. Perhaps that alone is enough to earn praise from longtime fans, but does this 8-episode series truly deliver quality? Or is it just better than a live-action version that has been considered one of the worst films in history? Today, let's delve a bit into the journey of young ANS in the live-action version and the gamble Netflix is taking by bringing a notoriously difficult adaptation to the screen. For those who don't know, Avatar, The Last Airbender follows ANS, a 12-year-old boy, or more accurately, a 112-year-old boy, with the noble mission of continuing the legacy left by other avatars. Trapped in ice for 100 years, ANS is unaware that the Fire Nation has sparked a wide-scale war of conquest. When he awakens, the world is engulfed in the smoke of war. From here, the series follows its journey to mature into the rightful Avatar, mastering all four elements and opposing the Fire Nation. Speaking of mastering the elements, there's a scene from the 2010 adaptation that the online community mercilessly mocked, where an earthbender performs a very elaborate dance just to throw a rock at the enemy. Drawing lessons right from the first few seconds, the 2024 version immediately sets a similar action scene to captivate the audience, indicating that the battles in their film are on a different level. An earthbender is seen facing off against dozens of Fire Nation soldiers, delivering swift, concise, and extremely impactful blows. This could be considered the first advantage of this adaptation, as from the first episode to the last, the battles are all visually stunning. From the firebenders turning enemies to ash with their flames to the waterbenders manipulating water and ice, and even the soaring flights of Aang. While the hand-to-hand combat scenes may not be overly exciting, whenever elemental powers come into play, one can't help but marvel at the investment Netflix has put into this project, especially in the final battle when Aang harnesses the power of the ocean spirit to decimate Fire Nation warships, giving the impression of watching a blockbuster movie. With a budget of over $15 million per episode, Avatar truly dazzles. Referring to this conclusion, while all comparisons may be imperfect, many viewers will likely recognize one of the reasons why the 2010 version was so poorly rated: it disrupted the beloved story. Drawing from the Netflix adaptation, while there have been some changes such as rearranging the Southern Air Temple scene being attacked first, overall, it remains quite faithful to what happened in the animated series, even including small details like the cabbage merchant in the Earth Kingdom as a humorous Easter egg for longtime fans. Doing a simple calculation, with Netflix having 8 episodes, equivalent to 480 minutes, tasked with adapting Book 1 of the animated series comprising 20 episodes of 24 minutes each, it's a perfect fit, allowing Netflix ample time to carefully navigate through each subplot, develop character personalities, and strengths. And indeed, Aang embarks on an adventure to a new land in each episode, treating viewers to visually stunning scenes, from the Northern Air Temple of the Air Nomads, to the majestic mountain city of Amashu in the Earth Kingdom, to the Northern Water Tribe's stronghold, all the architecture faithfully brought from the original work, detailed and awe-inspiring. Despite some criticisms from viewers about the characters looking like cosplay with their overly shiny and new clothes, even though they're living in harsh conditions, personally, I don't think it significantly affects the viewing experience. Therefore, for fans of Avatar, this is truly a ticket back to childhood when beloved characters stepped out of the animated drawings. Although costumes may not significantly impact the viewing experience, another aspect that does have a significant and rather negative impact is the shallow content of Avatar, The Last Airbender. It fails to live up to its visual appeal and remains at a mediocre level. Indeed, while it's known that Avatar is aimed at a younger audience, Many situations in the film are handled in an overly childish and imaginative manner, overlooking flaws in character development. For instance, in the final episode, Aang suddenly proclaims that he will save the world after a few extremely vague plot twists, or Katara's sudden mastery of waterbending after just one scene, despite previously struggling during training. It's suggested to accept that they are exceptionally gifted individuals with great potential, but by the third episode, these scenarios repeat in an illogical manner that's hard to overlook. Consider the following segment. In the city of Omashu in the Earth Kingdom, there's a group of dissidents discontent with the rule led by Jets, who devise a plan to assassinate the king. This scene evoked genuine laughter from me. Firstly, the leader of what is supposed to be the strictest surveillance area in the world appears with a laughably meager defense force. Then, on a not-so-distant tree, a member of the assassination team conspicuously displays his bow, absurdly ostentatious. It's puzzling how no one notices him while Katara can spot him in half a second. It's unclear who approved such a scene, but it seems it was all to serve Katara's demonstration of her new waterbending technique, deflecting a rocket with her superb waterbending skills. The story of Katara is rushed, even faster than Aang's, with not much development from the main characters, let alone expectations for the supporting characters. Zuko, Azula, and Sokka all fail to leave a lasting impression like they did in the animated series. Take Sokka, for instance. In the original, he had a significant bias against women in combat, but at the Kyoshi warrior village, he learned a lifelong lesson when he witnessed the strength of the women there, making him more humble and strong. However, in the live-action adaptation, he learns nothing from his time at Kyoshi Island aside from swooning over Suki, the village chief's daughter. The entire series only remembers him for his romantic entanglements, a subplot that's sorely missed and greatly diminishes the value of his character. The actors' performances also fail to truly impress, further distancing oneself from what should have been fascinating characters. However, perhaps the most disengaging aspect of following Aang's journey, especially noteworthy, is the dialogue. For some reason, every character in Avatar, The Last Airbender, seems to love delivering philosophical lines. Every 10 minutes or so, a character will say something like this. Remember who you are, fight for what matters, what truly is important, have courage, trust yourself. There are too many deep-sounding lines, which, in reality, are unnecessary. This makes the film feel shallow and sometimes overly childish. Whenever an issue arises for one character, another immediately transforms into a wise sage to offer advice, comfort, and just as quickly, any doubts are dispelled. Katara struggles endlessly with waterbending until Aang offers encouragement, and suddenly, she becomes very proficient, praising him, and everything falls into place. This formula, along with a syrupy musical score repeated ad nauseum until the final episode, makes one simply want to fast forward to the action scenes. The film's intended moral lessons are all conveyed through dialogue, in extremely forced monologues. Rewatching the animated series, it's evident how different the handling of dialogue is, smartly balancing humor. While the 2005 Avatar targeted a younger audience very effectively without relying heavily on moralizing speeches, the 2024 version, on the contrary, tries to appear serious but ends up resolving everything in a childish manner. It's uncertain if this is entirely the fault of the writers, as there are inherent differences in conveying messages between animation and live action. Perhaps in the 2D version, such dialogue wouldn't feel as contrived. However, with real actors delivering moral lessons in such an overt manner, the audience feels truly exhausted. It's truly regrettable that the filmmaking team managed to create a faithful exterior but failed to capture the emotional atmosphere. What initially made the Avatar franchise successful was its ability to resonate with themes of friendship and family without having characters speak their innermost thoughts so blatantly. If you're okay with the emphasis on the power of friendship and family being expressed by characters saying exactly what's on their minds, then perhaps you'll be okay with what Netflix has produced. Returning to Avatar, The Last Airbender brings together all the elements of a blockbuster, and Netflix has hit two main targets: visually stunning and faithful to the original. It's a smart move to at least satisfy a portion of the loyal fan base. With their clear strategy, the network has succeeded in presenting Avatar in a polished manner. If you're questioning this work, then the actual review scores reflect the film quite accurately. 59%, a number of Rotten Tomatoes from critics, but the general audience rewards it with delicious popcorn. So, if you're seeking a profound experience, this is definitely not the choice for you. But if you just want to watch some martial arts scenes, Avatar is much more epic than you think.